That was me in Blenheim, Hanover last week, touring the birthplace of national hero Sir Alexander Bustamante. What we failed to mention last time is that we also toured other historical sites in the parish, so you'll get to see what we uncovered in Hanover today. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. The show starts right now with a word of advice followed by the news.
Householders, business people, school administrators, be on the alert. Help control the mosquito population. Destroy breeding sites. Empty old tires and all other containers where water can settle. Bore holes in old cans. Cover water drums and garbage cans. Wash flower pots and vases and clean pet dishes regularly. Protect yourself from mosquito bites. Cover your body as much as possible and use mosquito repellent containing DEET.
Good day, I'm Tamara McHale and this is your GIS News for Monday, August 10. Co-chairman of the Economic Program Oversight Committee, EPOC, Richard Biles, says the Petrocaribe debt buyback will reduce Jamaica's debt burden. The Finance Ministry recently completed a transaction with the Venezuelan government to buy a portion of its debt under the Petrocaribe Energy Corporation agreement, using a portion of the $2 billion raised on the international capital market. The debt was purchased for $1.5 billion.
So we can take approximately $1.5 billion US and buy back approximately $3 billion US of debt from Petrocaribe from Venezuela. So you're really, in a way, buying back the debt pretty cheaply.
Mr. Biles added that the transaction would help Jamaica to accomplish key aspects of the economic reform program.
And what that will do is reduce our debt to GDP very considerably, by as much maybe as 10% or even a little bit more. So we're going to drop from, say, 137% debt to GDP, which is ridiculously high, to about 126% debt to GDP.
Mr. Biles was speaking recently at a function hosted by the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce. A team from the International Monetary Fund, IMF, is expected in the island on Wednesday to assess the country's performance under the Extended Fund facility. The team will be carrying out its 9th assessment of the Jamaican economy for the April to June 2015 period. The IMF mission to Jamaica, led by Dr. Uma Ramakrishnan, will determine if Jamaica met all quantitative targets and structural benchmarks for the review period. After passing the 8th IMF test, Jamaica received $40 million more from the multilateral agency. The IMF's review of the Jamaican economy comes on the heels of an announcement that Jamaica's net international reserves stood at $2.4 billion at the end of July. A new 2-lane bridge is scheduled to be constructed in Pear Tree River in eastern St. Thomas. The bridge, which will be built over the next 6 months, will replace the existing Harborhead Bridge constructed in 1889. This follows last Friday's signing of a $49.5 million contract between representatives from the Ministry of Transport, Works and Housing and Alcar Construction and Haulage Company Limited. State Minister for Transport, Works and Housing, Richard Azan, said the new bridge would increase accessibility.
You have seen a new light in your community. Farmers will be able to produce more. More people will want to come into your community.
Member of Parliament for Eastern St. Thomas, Dr. Fenton Ferguson, welcomed the project, which will be implemented by the National Works Agency, NWA. The Harborhead Bridge, which serves residents of Golden Grove, Port Morant and Morant Bay in St. Thomas, was declared unfit for use by the NWA about 15 years ago. Meanwhile, over 8,000 residents in sections of St. Elizabeth are now benefiting from improved infrastructure following the official opening of the Fraser to Donegal Main Road. Funding for the $8 million roadway came from the St. Elizabeth Parish Council's Equalization Fund. Portfolio Minister Noel R. Scott says the improvements in the road networks across Jamaica will undoubtedly improve the lives of citizens.
The government has a commitment to ensure that rural communities in Jamaica are not left behind. So we have nice highway, but many of our interior roads are in bad condition. So you have a commitment from me as the Minister of Local Government and Community Development to do all I can to ensure that we address the issue of these local government roads.
And finally, the Ministry of Education is reporting a 90% pass rate for the June 2015 Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examinations CAPE. The impressive results, which were released online Sunday, are consistent with last year's. The average pass rate for Unit 1 subjects was 89.2% and 91.8% for Unit 2. Student performance in law recorded the highest increase of 6.4 percentage points, followed by information technology with 5.1 percentage points. There was, however, a general decline in mathematics-related subjects. The syllabus of one such CAPE subject, geometrical and electrical engineering drawing, has been revised due to structural issues. The new syllabus will be implemented in September 2015. And that's it for GIS News Today. I'm Tamara McHale. Thank you for watching.
Some water with it, please.
Water gone.
But me need water for cook. So how me go wash?
Let's weather the drought. Start conservation measures today. Check for leaks around your house. Opt for shorter showers over long baths. Reuse water to water plants and lawn. Watch the amount of water you and your family use. Try cooking methods that don't require much water. And if you have a vehicle, avoid washing it regularly. Remember, water is as important as the air we breathe. So conserve our water, conserve our life.
Jamaica House Weekly comes your way next.
All hands on deck for Jamaica, committed to social justice, security and prosperity for all, and a reason to celebrate Jamaica at 53. I'm Carrie Ann Smith with the Jamaica House Weekly. Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller has once again urged Jamaicans to band together to build a prosperous Jamaica. While she thanked citizens for the sacrifices already made, Mrs. Simpson Miller called for greater unity in the country's interest.
Much respect is due to every citizen who, in the interest of our country, has heeded the call for greater social discipline, industry, innovation, cultural creativity, and economic self-reliance. We are looking to the future. We are doing what is necessary to protect and preserve, uplift, and elevate those things we know to be the best of Jamaica. I celebrate the enterprising and entrepreneurial spirit of our citizens, from the small commercial operators to the large investors who have all maintained their confidence in our ability to skillfully manage the affairs of this nation despite the difficulties.
Prime Minister Simpson Miller was speaking at Thursday's Independence Parade at King's House. And Mrs. Simpson Miller also used her independence message to advocate for greater personal responsibility among Jamaicans.
I call on every Jamaican to be the very best that you can be. Fulfill your greatest potential. Never forget to lend a helping hand to your brothers and sisters. Let us build our communities and participate in the governance of our country. This is how we continue to build our nation. This is how we bring real meaning to independence. Our commitment is to social justice, security, and prosperity for all. We are in pursuit of economic equity and are unwavering in our commitment to the values and principles of democracy. We have to recommit ourselves in every way possible to engaging better social relations to produce peace, harmony, and tolerance in our families, our communities, and in our nation.
And as Jamaicans converged on the National Stadium to celebrate Jamaica's 53rd anniversary of independence, Prime Minister Simpson Miller spoke to the importance of staging grand galas.
I think that this is part of the pride and joy of all Jamaicans at home and in the diaspora. We have to give thanks for those who fought for emancipation, and later on, those who fought for our independence. I think it is very important as a nation. And some might say 53 is not so young. But I say as a young nation, we have achieved much.
And before the independence celebrations, Prime Minister Simpson Miller took some time to meet with the finalists of the 2015 National Nurse and Nursing Student of the Year competitions. At Tuesday's meeting, Mrs. Simpson Miller congratulated the nominees and encouraged them to continue to make Jamaica proud. And that's it for Jamaica House Weekly. Do join us next time for the latest stories coming out of the office of the Prime Minister.
Let's celebrate Jamaica to the world. Fastest man in the world. First Jamaican woman to win gold in Olympic 100-meter sprint. An upcoming global superstar. Mouth-watering meals. And a vibrant set of people. We are Jamaicans. Let's get together and bring back the love.
This building reflects Jamaica's Georgian architectural style of the 1720s to the 1850s. Take a look.
The year was 1655 when the British first explored the terra firma, which is Jamaica, and discovered her prime lands, peaceful people, and eternal splendor. They explored her economic viability, leaving us lush green spreads of sugarcane cultivation, covering countless square miles of this, our land. And today standing, many unyielding and unmoved, structures of an inimitable mold and imposing stance. Some over 250 years old, set aloft as waters of the world beneath and keepers of countless tales, which unraveled on the high seas. These are Stonewall monuments, enclosing priceless narratives of our heritage, erected under the directives of the British. These are structures of the Georgian ilk, strewn in the highlands and on the roadways of Jamaica. History tells us that the British plantocracy preferred the fruits of the earth to the life the land dictated. Many adopted a life of absenteeism because, according to them, the finer things of England could not be quite replicated on the islands. But the sugar estates thrived, returning to the planters an abundance of wealth. Many decided, after all, they could afford the good old English life here on the island. So they brought a cornerstone of the fine British life here. The obsession of the English planters with contemporary British taste led to the establishment of a potpourri of Georgian structures on the island between the late 18th and early 19th centuries. At the turn of the 19th century, when Jamaica emerged as the leading agrarian and military outpost, the secret of her architectural blueprint quickly spread to neighboring British territories. Nevertheless, the architectural splendor of the local collection is rivaled by only a handful of other British colonies in Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Barbados, and England herself.
We have the finest collection of Georgian buildings in the Caribbean, and indeed some of them are as fine as any in the England where the Georgian style started. So we need to take care of them.
Georgian type edifices remain till today, the most impressive example of domestic architecture in the West Indies. Georgian-style architecture became popular in England during the reign of King George IV and his antecedents from 1711 to 1830. However, the architectural form, according to the history books, was an 18th century fad, even though King George IV outlived the 1700s by some 30 years. The kings ruled during a particularly interesting period in Britain. It was a time when Britain was fast discovering her youth again, and the blueprint of the buildings of the time was drawn from the classic rebirth of that era. The architects of the age aimed at erecting simple symmetrical structures based on the shape of the circle and the belief that ancient mathematicians equated circles with geometric perfection. The Georgian building is a balanced structure, designed as it were for perfect dissection. Cast in what seems like plain brick or stonework or wood paneling, the Georgian-style building has enjoyed a 250-year-old groundwork of expertly laid red clay bricks, rectangular cuts of white limestone, and flat wooden slats. Fine examples of this intricate woodwork also aptly decorate the interior of the Georgian building.
Now for that tour we promised. Aside from Sir Alexander's childhood home in Blenheim, the parish of Hanover has a few other heritage sites. Watch as I take you on a tour of a few of them. First up, Fort Charlotte in Lucy, Hanover. The British naval fort was built in 1746 to defend the northwest section of the island. The fort got its name from King George III's consort, Queen Charlotte. It had a barrack to house 50 men, 23 embrasures for 23 guns, 20 of which were mounted. The fort is built of rectangular cut stone with several openings towards the sea. An artillery store, 3 guns, and a circular base for the rotation of guns still remains intact at the fort. A section of the fort now forms part of the lower campus of the Russies High School. The stone ruins of Kenilworth is another heritage site. It's a mile in from the main road leading to Sandy Bay at a place called Magotty Cove.
Hey, afternoon, Theo.
Hi, Miss James.
Welcome.
Thank you. How are you?
You are now on the illustrious Magotty Cove. That's what it was called then.
Yeah.
This is Kenilworth Northwest TVET Institute, to be exact.
Yeah.
Kenilworth campus.
Okay.
So welcome.
Thank you.
Nice to have you here today. Yes, it is not only the home of Hartrust Training Institution, it's also the home of the famous ruins. The property was owned by Thomas Blagrove, a young man, died at 22, you wouldn't believe it. Yes, he was the slave owner, and also he was a representative of the parish of Hanover. He was buried on this property. Yes, and so there is another addition to the historic ruins. Very much so.
The 207-acre property now houses the Hart Trust NTA's Northwest TVET Institute, which includes Kenilworth, Granville, Cornwall Automotive, and Falmouth.
Currently, we have a myriad of information technology programs. We train system technicians. We do web page design. We also train computer repairs technicians. And you know they are 21st century skills. We have hospitality skills program, and in a little while too, I am going to invite you and your team to experience Kenilworth dining.
We say goodbye to Kenilworth and hello to our final stop for the day, the Trial Great House. Our tour guide, Joaneth Tharkor, told us the 2,200-acre estate has a number of 19th century architecture, including a 3-mile aqueduct, a great house, the ruins of a fort, and a water wheel which still works. Even though my trip has been cut short by the rain, it doesn't have to end here for you. You may call 956-5660 to arrange your own tour.
Preparing for back to school can be a stressful task if not planned carefully. That's why it's important for you to make a list and deal with each task one at a time. Here are a few tips to consider when shopping for books. Before you buy any book, check with friends, neighbors, and family members for ones you can borrow. You should also check with schools, churches, and the community groups that may have a recycle book program, or stores that sell second-hand books. After you have done all that, check the prices at various bookstores in order to get the best price. You could also buy books that will be used early in the school year first, if you can't buy all at once. Act now and avoid the last-minute rush.
This next feature is for school children. For some, the new school year brings with it a new class, new teacher, or even a new school. That whole process can be quite stressful if you're unprepared. Watch as we help to allay some of those fears.
Oh yes, the holiday is now almost a distant memory, and in a couple of days, your free paper bun. Back to the studying, late night reading, and you finally get a chance to reunite with your friends. Now some of you may be going to high school for the very first time, and you probably have a few concerns. So this week in the Zone, reminders as you kickstart the new school term.
Yo, what going?
I'm fine enough.
You alright?
Yeah.
So what you want to talk about now?
You know, some I go high school this year, and the bullying thing, I want to know how to prevent myself from being attacked by bullies.
Best thing to do is like go to a teacher first, and report it, because it's not good. Violence is not good. It don't make sense to fight them, because you're just putting yourself in deeper trouble.
They should report it to their parents and to the guidance counselors, because it can affect their academic performance.
This is partly because the child being bullied will become fearful and may want to stay away from school. Recognizing that, the Ministry of Education has made it clear that no form of bullying will be tolerated in schools.
Is it true that you have more than one teacher for every subject?
Yeah, they come into your classroom at different times during the day. So you have different sessions for different subjects.
They should be aware that they will have to take responsibility for their own learning. They will have to be aware that nobody will be running behind them.
How do you manage your time for each subject?
Usually when I go home, I usually devote an hour to a subject.
As soon as the term starts, students should begin to read a lot, review their notes every day, study consistently, and they should make sure that the subjects that they are weakest at, they should spend much more time with those.
It cannot be all about academics though. Get involved in extracurricular activities, but do not allow them to take up all your time. And there's another issue that has to be addressed: respect. Being well-mannered is not a faux pas. It's very much the in thing, whether you're at the primary, secondary, or tertiary level.
There is also problems when they get low grades. Students quarrel a lot about low grades. Here again, I take them aside and talk to them. I show them why they couldn't get A's.
Then there's the issue of peer pressure. Choose your friends carefully. Hang around persons who will help you to make good decisions.
Don't follow bad company, it's just not right, because then you'd be brought down a lot. Some people don't want to see you get good grades and stuff.
So that means if I behave and study my books at high school, I will be okay?
Yeah, you'll get through high school pretty fine. So you're good now, that's all I wanted to know about high school and things.
Yeah, man.
Alright, you're good, man.
Here are a few additional reminders to help you make it through school, regardless of the level you're at. Take notes. Write down the important points that the teacher makes so you can refer to them at a later date. Ask questions. If something is not clear, ask the teacher to clarify. Study in advance. Don't cram everything the night before. Create a homework plan. This way you will pace yourself to complete assignments on time. Be careful of your friends. Learn to differentiate between those who mean well and those who don't. Don't idle after school. Get home as soon as possible. This way you will be better kept out of danger. Talk about your problems. If something is bothering you, ask a responsible adult for advice.
I would ask that teachers be more gentle with students now. They should be firm when they are correcting them, but they should do so without degrading them.
So this academic year can be a successful one. With the right attitude, hard work, and perseverance, you can achieve your fullest potential.
Question: when it's gonna be my time to shine, I gotta get what's mine. When it's gonna be a little shine for me. Lyrics and flow, I circle the city because my full of versatility.
And that's our show. Be sure to join us online for this and other magazine programs by visiting jis.gov.jm. Let's keep the link. Like us on Facebook, friend us on Twitter, or download our app from the Google Play Store. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Theo. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.